I'm so thankful to be here today to talk with you about Thrivership. We're going to talk about living fully with neuroendocrine cancer and how we can build our Thrivership community and our Thrivership resources. Below you see some icons, and each of those icons are programs that NETRF offers that have more in-depth information on each of the topics and categories that I'm sharing today. So please be sure to check out all of the different patient education resources that we offer, so that way you can continue to learn more. But we're going to go ahead and get started. Have you ever felt like your diagnosis of neuroendocrine cancer isolated you from others? I want to change that today. Let's talk about building a Thrivership community and a Thrivership system for yourself. So we're going to do this a little bit differently. We are going to do it through flowers. And I will be honest, one of the things that in the past couple years since I've been working with NETRF is I've learned to stop and look at the flowers and look at the small things that bring me joy. And so we're going to do something around the area of flowers for Thrivership today. So we're going to start off. I got this branch from out in my garden. And to me, this branch represented neuroendocrine cancer. And the reason being is that it's a tree that kind of grows in, around my house that I normally wouldn't see in a flower arrangement, or see it at my neighbors' houses, but it's just sort of a part of the landscape here. And we're going to see how Thrivership and other things that we can add in can help this be a more beautiful experience. So, what is Thrivership? Thrivership is about giving space, acceptance, but it's not about giving up. It's about living fully. And thriving might look different for you versus another person. And so what we're going to do is we are going to talk about some main components for Thrivership. Remember that you may or may not have all these components. You may decide to add some in, but we're going to start with some basic examples. So for Thrivership, one of the most important things is to have really good medical care. You have heard about this all day so long in the program. So really good medical care makes a really big difference. And so on your Thrivership team, your medical specialists may look very different, but they are a part of your team. Also understanding your physical landscape. How are you doing? How are your tests? Making sure that you're keeping up with your scans and your annual appointments, etc. But your medical team is an important part. The next part of your Thrivership plan is going to be coping with uncertainty. This is a tough one because neuroendocrine cancer is full of uncertainty. And finding ways to manage uncertainty is really important. And there's not going to be a part of this journey that is free of uncertainty, but learning how to manage and cope with it is a part of the Thrivership journey. We have a lot of resources, especially in our Thrivership series, that address this. Mental health matters. I was speaking with someone just today, and we were talking about how cancer is a physical thing, but it creates a lot of emotional challenges too. And so we're going to talk a little bit about mental health. So for mental health, I am going to pick a couple, just a bunch of these right here, because there's a lot of aspects of mental health. So there are mental health resources that you could have that are through a counselor, through a support group, and active things that you do, like behavioral activation, making sure that you're exercising, making sure that you're journaling, etc. But knowing that if you are dealing with neuroendocrine cancer, it is not uncommon to experience anxiety or depression and or mood changes, and making sure that you're talking with your doctor about those. Because we can also, if there's mental health challenges, also do things to improve emotional wellness. And that's a part of Thrivership as well, emotional wellness and resilience. So for emotional wellness and resilience, let's see what I want to pick here. Okay, I'll do this really, really pretty purple hydrangea. Is for emotional wellness and resilience, these are the things that you can actively do that you have control over to feel better. So this might be practicing mindfulness. This is definitely practicing gratitude. These are things that you are making an effort every single day to do. And we have a lot of emotional wellness strategies that are highlighted in our Thrivership series. And we even have a NetWise podcast that covers joy and happiness. So, emotional wellness is a big part. So, mental health support, what does that look like? So, that could be, again, therapy or counseling. It could be peer-led support groups. It could be journaling or learning to participate in the expressive arts, spiritual care or meditation, and sometimes medication, psychotherapy, and more advanced intervention may be needed. Please talk to your doctor if you're noticing that you're having changes in your sleep, your appetite, and your overall quality of life. It could be related to mental health challenges. So let's talk about another thing we could add to this Thrivership community. How about finding your community? So earlier, I mentioned not doing this alone and changing that. Well, finding your community is a really important part. And so your community might exist in a support group. It may exist in a online support group. It may exist in having friends that you meet up with that have other chronic diseases or other cancers, or finding connections. Community also can be not cancer related. All of your thrivership should not be 100% cancer related. There should be parts of you that are not about cancer in here. And so maybe some of your community, some of your things that you do for joy and that you would like is outside of the cancer experience. But finding who your community is, who are the people, because you need social support and that matters. So another part of thrivership is going to be good rest, good sleep, and nutrition and exercise. That was a lot of things, but we're going to go ahead and put those in. So for let's see, we'll put this really big, beautiful hydrangea back there. So this is good rest and sleep, eating well, and exercise, movement, things that you can do. All of these components really help your mental health. They also help your physical well-being, and they are things that you can control in your journey. If you have not exercised before your cancer diagnosis, or it's something that you're wanting to do right now, what I would advise for you to do is to talk with your doctor, possibly get a referral to see a physical therapist to set up an exercise program, or go to your cancer center and see if there's any recommendations. Exercise has been proven, and there's a lot of research right now of how beneficial it is for neuroendocrine cancer and cancer in general. I know eating is something that is very challenging. There's a lot of resources for nutrition and eating on our Net Knowledge Center and embedded in all the resources that we have as well. And so I encourage you to research more on how you can increase your nutrition and eat well as a part of your thrivership journey. And we are going to move to, let's see. This is kind of an important thing. I'm going to choose a sunflower for this. Research. Did you know that research is a part of your thrivership journey? And the reason why is that research really is a part of your lifeline. And the reason why is that with research, this is how we make progress. And so learning about clinical trials, registries, how you can participate in research, or how you can support research, or even how you can have a voice, a patient voice about how research impacts you or how you can participate. And how can you get engaged in research? Participate in patient surveys about research. You can do symptom tracking. Take a look at the Net Clinical Trial Finder and find out about clinical trials in your area. And then, of course, always go to NETRF and see what we're doing in terms of our funding our research projects. I know that Anna had spoken earlier and shared a lot of things about the pillars of our research program, and they're all here for you. And so knowing that research is a very big part of thrivership, and while you may be able to participate some in it, but it's always going to be there too as a support for you. The next thing we're going to talk about is the power of peer support. So we talked about connection and community and how important that is. Are you involved with a support group? If you're not, I highly encourage you to be involved. there are support groups that are online, there are some that meet in person, but more than anything, to help reduce that feeling of isolation and help to eliminate that sense of loneliness with this cancer. The next thing we're going to talk about is how relationships matter in the Thrivership journey and communicating your needs. So relationships are an important part of our of a cancer journey and of a Thrivership journey. And so making sure that we are communicating and cultivating strong relationships with the people that care about us and love us. And at the same time, making sure that we're communicating. We have NETRF has some programs on in our Thrivership program on communicating and talking to people that you love and communicating your needs. This can be a really hard thing to do. And if you're a caregiver today listening, it's hard for you too sometimes. So learning how to find ways to communicate your needs, because that's a sign of strength, not a weakness at all. And then we are going to talk a little bit about integrative therapies. So integrative therapies are a part of a Thrivership journey. And they, are in many ways as important as other therapies and treatments that you get. But integrative therapies are things that you can do like going to counseling, practicing mindfulness, they're hiking, participating in the arts. There might be things that you're doing that you can do that are complementary to the medical treatments that you're receiving, and don't hurt or cause any damage or conflict in that way, but actually help support your emotional wellness and well-being. So complementary therapies may be a part of your Thrivership journey. And now I said therapies, and I think we need to talk a little bit more about other therapies, because treatment changes are always going to be a part of neuroendocrine cancer. And so as we've seen in the last 20 years that NETRF has been around, we have had a lot of treatment changes. And that's incredible. And as there's more treatment options and more understanding about toxicities and also stratification of treatments, or what precision medicine, what is going to be the best treatment for you. Treatment changes are going to be a part of the Thrivership journey. So allowing space for that opportunity that you may experience treatment changes too. So what are some other things, that we can think about that are a part of your Thrivership journey? It may be unique to you. I want you to think about it. So I've named a couple of things already, but there might be some things that are already a part of your journey that are important to you. We're going to talk a little bit about gratitude. So I'm going to put this right here. Gratitude is a really big part of emotional wellness, and it can help with resilience, and it can help to rewrite how you look at things. Earlier in the beginning of this program, I talked about how I look at I look at flowers more now, since I've been working with neuroendocrine cancer for the past 3 years. And one of the things I think that I do is that I've trained myself to look at beautiful things. So I'm going to ask you to consider, when you're having a stressful day, when it's been a hard day, or you are having maybe even a blah day, go on a walk, or go sit outside, or sit in your living room. Look around and try to find the little things that make you smile, that make you happy, and that you might be thankful for. The reason being is that when we do this, we get a little surge of dopamine and serotonin. It helps us to feel better, and then it ultimately helps us to move forward. It doesn't change that some things were hard, but it definitely can make things a lot better. So the next thing we're going to talk about is finding meaning and purpose. This is hard because disease can change what working is like sometimes. Disease can change, and often we identify our purpose with our occupation. Disease can change a lot of things, and cancer, in the face of cancer, it can make you rethink kind of, what is my purpose? And why we don't have to have a strong answer of exactly what our purpose is. I think knowing that redefining purpose is a part of a Thrivership journey. So we're going to add a couple flowers in for this too. And the purpose is, things that you do, things that are unique to you. And they don't justify having cancer, by the way, because there's no justification for cancer. It's not that you have cancer, so this is the reason why. No, that's not, I think, fair or just. But it's a part of your thrivership journey. Kind of my purpose has shifted a little bit, or what is my purpose going to be? And it might not have anything to do with cancer, and that is okay. But it is important to acknowledge that sometimes the sense of purpose changes, and that's a part of your thrivership journey as well. So we have a couple of flowers here left, and I want to think that there's a couple things that will be unique to all of us, and in our own journeys. But I think we can add in things like support from our care partner, your spouse, your friend, your child, your loved one, your neighbor, your coworker, whoever that is. They're a part of your journey as well. And we can also think about the beautiful people you meet along the way. When you go to get treatment, there might be a beautiful person in terms of how lovely and kind they are when you go and see them, and when you're going to get treatment or you go to your doctor's office. That becomes kind of a part of a routine or your community. So your thrivership essentially can be what you make of it. Now, like any beautiful flower, and I'm going to set these down, we have to pay attention to how we take care of ourselves. We have to pay attention to our thrivership journey. I want you, as you're building your thrivership, how you live fully, to kind of look back and assess on it. How are things doing? Does my thrivership bouquet look full? Does it look like I need to add a little bit more self-care in? Or is it that I'm feeling lonely and I need to add more connection in? Or is it that, this treatment changes happened and I feel like I need to add a little bit more support and resources in? Part of being a part of the neuroendocrine cancer community, you are really surrounded by a lot of organizations that care big, including NETRF. And we have a lot of resources, a lot of support programs in terms of education. And we are here and we want to help you. NETRF is funding research for your tomorrow, but our patient education, our resources, and all that we do for your thrivership is here for your today. We want to help you in your areas of emotional wellness. We want to help you with as much education because we know that knowledge is power, and we're here as a resource for you. So in closing today, there are 5 things I want you to think about. Some actions that you possibly can take to help your thrivership journey. One is that I want you to map out your support circle. Know who's on your team, where you get your support, and where those gaps exist. Because we want to make sure that our thrivership together is complete with support. I encourage you to make sure that you are up to date on all of your medical appointments and managing your symptoms and really just possibly making one wellness check or one plan for wellness. What is something that you can do to add in for your self-care or wellness going forward? If you're not a part of a support group, I encourage you to attend an online support group or go to visit a support group. Make a connection. And I encourage you to create one small daily routine. One thing that you can do that's easy enough every day, a walk, a stretch, writing a sentence of something you're thankful for, or connecting with someone. One small thing that will make your day a little bit brighter and allow you to take care of yourself. And lastly, I encourage you to speak up about your needs. Whether it's a referral, information, or rest, whatever it is, to know that your needs matter. And these small changes, small little steps can make really big changes for you in the future. Thrivership is something that doesn't always feel beautiful, like a bouquet of flowers. I understand this. But what I want to encourage you is to know that there are things that you can put into your life every single day that balances out neuroendocrine cancer, that can give you little senses of joy, support, comfort, resources. And those are all in your control. My information is here. Please feel free to reach out to me. if anything that I said you want more details about. And I encourage you to look at our Net Patient Guide, to access our Thrivership Series that we do monthly, or to look at our Net Knowledge Center. And of course, to listen to our NetWise podcast.